Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And I want to talk to you guys very briefly about this topic, just because I think it's something that's it's a very, I don't even know the words for it right now. It's really crazy, like everything that's kind of going on in the world. And so I think when it comes to love, I think for me, it was like one of those things it was easy to pretty much just let it go. Like let it go in a sense of, I'm not going to hope for this because it's easier to want for nothing than to want for something and to not obtain it, and to not have it. And so it was one of those things where I was like, I am just going to be in this boat and I'm going to just, I'm going to be sailing upstream, downstream. Yeah, downstream because I think you go upstream. Yeah, and I'm not gonna be in a space of resistance. I'm going to allow experiences to come to me, but I'm not going to hope for anything and I'm going to detach from outcomes, right? And I think that is kind of like the cynicism of the hopeless romantic, because it's just one of those things where I think, especially now in today's age, man, it's horrible. The messages that are being spewed out and just kind of like the space in which we're entering as men and women. It's this huge divide and everybody's kind of like against one another. Nobody can trust. And I think that without trust, most importantly, because what happens is that when we have these negative experiences, we often kind of fall into that space of generalization and we start to generalize every male or every female, you know what I mean? And so I think like once you step into that space, it's like, if you can't trust anybody, you know what I mean? I talk to you guys about trusting yourself, but like, if you can't trust anybody, then there can be no relationship. There can be no possibility for it. And so I just think that overall, I would say that to fix it, I guess it would really just kind of be to start with developing friendships, and just kind of being in that space and riding with that for some time, and we talk about like being stuck in the friend zone. Obviously we know, I'm not going to say we know. I think that for you, right, for each individual listening today, it's one of those things where it's like you have to set your own boundaries in regards to what you will allow and what you won't allow. Not necessarily in regards to like disrespect or anything, of course not, but one of those things where it's like, hey, this is how far I will go in this friendship and this is what is too much for me, and I don't know, maybe if it's a state of protection, but I just think overall, like just where things kind of are in today's society, just because you just don't know, and it's really sad to kind of be in this space because I think that it has a huge detriment on our health and our overall livelihood. I think that when it comes to like dating and things like that, it should be fun. It's nice to meet different people. You get to see what you like, what you don't like, what you want and what you do want, right? Of course, those negative experiences always bring you closer to the positive ones and the ones that, are more suited for you. And so it's really tough to be in such a space where everybody's just kind of like, I'm done, I'm done with it. But I think accountability is a huge thing. And I think it's boundaries, it's self-respect, it's an understanding of who you are as a person. And, you can never really change for people. I think that, I talked about this in seasons, and this is higher thinking, right? So this is in regards to like purpose-based, like, okay, I got my things together because of my mom, my unborn children and the people who I was sent to and the people I was called to and those who I inspire. That's completely different. You know what I mean? But I think, most importantly, it's like you are who you are, you know what I mean? And you're multifaceted and that's beautiful, but in the end, it's just straight. Like that's just who you are. And so I think when we morph ourselves, it obviously makes the experience a lot different. And it's okay to grow, it's okay to grow with someone. I think that that's something that's being introduced. And I think another thing too is like just letting go of that certainty because you just never know. You may be able to grow, old with someone, or you have that outcome, or you may be able to grow together in a season or a couple seasons, So I just think that overall it's just establishing a friendship and just kind of like enjoying the time that you spend with people, because life is short and connection is beautiful. And regardless if we view it as a negative thing, people come into your life to teach you something, and every past experience, whether good or bad, right, considered, brings you forth to something that is more desirable for yourself, and it brings you closer to your truth and who you are. And so I just think that space right there is just stepping into that space and being in that space is beautiful, you know. And I think that fear of certain things is inevitable. But I think if you go and do it anyway, I think you'll find bliss, right? You can always expect the best. And most importantly, you can kind of enter into a space where it's like, hey, okay, you know, just because, or let's just say this, like you do the what if, right? It's always one of those things where it's like, okay, if this doesn't work out, then you can reference it back to your past experiences. Like, hey, man, when that didn't work out, look what it brought me to, right? And if this doesn't work out, it's going to bring me to something better as well. And if it does work out, then all of the hard work that I put in on myself paid off. And so I just kind of wanted to reframe the dynamic of thinking and just meeting people in general, because I tell you guys all the time, connection is important. I definitely think that one of the things that I really love about my journey is the people that I've met and the people that I'll continue to meet, because people are incredible. And I definitely think that God speaks through us, through people. He speaks to us through people, and it's beautiful, and the connections that we share and the memories, most importantly, is worth it. It's worth it all in the end, and so that's amazing, and I think that's what life is all about. And so I hope that helps, and I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts.